live.
A very good evening. It's the 16th of January 2023. Welcome to the prime time news here on TV1 for the News First team, where the people come first. I'm Vanitha Muffali. Before we take a look at the stories that we've got for you this evening in detail, let's take a look at the headlines.
Police fired tear gas and water cannon on Iusa protest organized against repression and cost of living. Doctors protest and demand solutions to medicine shortage. Patients severely affected by shortage of medicines. SLFP decides to contest a majority of the local government institutions under the symbol of the hand. Paddy crops across many areas start turning yellow. Dual homicide in Giriulla, STF sergeant among the dead.
On to your top story this evening. Sri Lanka police fired tear gas and water cannons twice to disperse protesters led by the Inter-University Students' Federation in Colombo.
The protest was set to commence from Lipton Circus in Colombo, and based on that information, a large police force coupled with the riot police was seen stationed at the Lipton Circus on Monday afternoon. However, the protest commenced from opposite the United Nations office in Colombo. The Inter-University Students' Federation organised this protest, demanding the immediate release of Vanitha Muffali, who has been detained under the controversial Prevention of Terrorism Act for 150 days. They also demanded the government to reduce the prices of electricity, gas and fuel, while calling for the immediate abolishment of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. In addition, the protesters demanded the state to end the oppression targeting student leaders and called for the release of all detained activists. Civil groups and trade unions also supported the protest. Opposite the UN office, where Sri Lanka police deployed the riot police with water cannon trucks. Civilians supported the protesters by delivering water bottles to the location. The group protested for almost half an hour opposite the UN office and then marched to Galle Road.
ජනතාව මර්ධනය කරමින් ඒ වගේම ජනතාව මත බදුපර පටවමින් ජනතාව මත බර පටවමින් යන්න හදන මේ ගමන වහාම නවත්තන්න කියලා බල කිරීම තමයි අපි අද කරන්නේ. රනිල් සිංහලට කියනවා මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ ඉල්ලීම් ඉටු කරන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි උඹලව පන්නලා දාන්න. දාලා මැදිහත් කිරීම අපි කරනවා.
While the protesters were reaching the Kolpiti junction, a large force from Sri Lanka police, riot police and the water cannon trucks moved at them from Goldface and announced a court order using loudspeakers. However, the protesters did not disperse and the riot police and the water cannon trucks moved towards them. This was the response they received from the protesters. Thereafter, the group moved to the Marine Drive via Sirikotha Mawatha and St. Anthony's Mawatha to engage in the protest march. However, when the police officers and riot police entered Marine Drive, the protesters diverted back to the Gore Road to protest. At the Kolpiti junction, police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse the crowd. The protesters regrouped opposite the University of the Visual and Performing Arts to protest again.
The group relaunched their protest at the University of the Visual and Performing Arts. Police fired tear gas and water cannons once again to disperse protesters opposite the University of the Visual and Performing Arts. Several protesters were arrested by Sri Lanka police. A scuffle broke out between the riot police and the protesters when the water cannon trucks moved past the protesters. The protesters then entered the University of the Visual and Performing Arts and strongly protested the attempts made by riot police and police officers to enter the premises.
We will continue with this campaigning until Wasantha Mudalige is released and when repression comes to an end. We will continue this campaign until the people are given relief to survive.
Thereafter, the group dispersed.
A group of civil activists and trade union representatives who visited the Valikada prison to inquire into the well-being of the convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Vanitha Muffali, was arrested under the Prevention of Terrorism Act and has been detained for 150 days.
Vasantha Mudalige's case is tomorrow. Even with court dates being announced, 4 judgments have already been given. He has been remanded until the 27th of January for another case, and for another case, he will be remanded until the 3rd of February. He has been remanded again until the 17th of February for a separate case. That means, in addition to the case tomorrow, Vanitha Muffali has been given 4 orders already. That means he will be in remand for another month from tomorrow for these 4 cases. What is this? This is repression. The Ranil Rajapaksa government is trying to intimidate us.
A group of representatives, including the chairman of the Electricity Users Association, filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission over an incident where an ASP obstructed a protest organized opposite the Fort Railway Station against the increase in electricity tariffs. Views were also expressed about the proposed visit of the Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar to Sri Lanka.
The Indian Foreign Minister will visit Sri Lanka on the 19th. Why is he coming? To sign an energy conservation agreement. Through that agreement, we will connect our power supply to India's national power grid, and ultimately the country will turn into a colony of India. The real story is being revealed only now. By increasing the electricity tariff, the government is attempting to transform this country into an Indian colony. Jaishankar is coming on the 19th for that.
Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's visit to Colombo on Thursday will focus on supporting Sri Lanka in its current economic crisis.
The Hindu reports that talks are ongoing in the field of energy security, food security, currency swap arrangements, as well as talks about restructuring Sri Lanka's debt. The two-day visit is expected to see some announcements. A source said, quote, India is expected to give a positive response to Sri Lanka's requirements in keeping with India's support last year as well, unquote, citing India's combined package of about $4 billion including loans, credit lines for the purchase of essentials, and a loan deferment through the Asian Clearing Union. In addition, talks are expected on two possible MOUs on the Trincomalee development project and a long-pending plan for a cross-strait transmission line that would allow Sri Lanka access to India's plans for an energy grid along with other countries like Nepal, Bhutan and Bangladesh. While assisting Sri Lanka with its current economic difficulties is a priority, Jaishankar's visit, his first with a 6-month-old government in Colombo, would see a comprehensive review of bilateral ties.
Chinese Vice Minister Chen Zhu hosted a briefing on the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China for dozens of political parties on Monday. During this briefing, Sri Lankan parliamentarian Premanatsi Dolavatta apologized over the Yuan Wang 5 controversy.
A briefing on the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China led by Vice Minister Chen Zhu took place in Colombo.
At present, Sri Lanka is encountering an economic crisis and many people had a very inconvenient life, and actually the Chinese side feels empathy for them. The IDCPC is well aware that some Sri Lankans are still facing power shortages. So we would like to carry forward the spirit of the Rubber Rice Pact of mutual assistance and support. So we want to donate 1,000 solar generators to the Sri Lankan people through Sri Lankan political parties. Going forward, China will continue to provide assistance to the Sri Lankan people within our capacity and overcome the current crisis and difficulties together with Sri Lanka. China and Sri Lanka are strategic cooperative partners of sincerity and mutual trust and generations of friendship. Last year, we jointly celebrated the 70th anniversary of the signing of the Rubber Rice Pact and also the 65th anniversary of our diplomatic ties. Since we established diplomatic ties, no matter how the international landscape changes, our two countries have always rendered each other's firm support on issues concerning or caught interest and major concerns, and we have already promoted our cooperation in all fields. We have set a great example to the friendly coexistence and ritually beneficial cooperation between countries with different sizes. Going forward, China is willing to work together with Sri Lanka to further consolidate our strategic cooperative partnership and seek development for a better future. We need to consolidate our good neighborliness and be the development partners that shares common benefits. We should work together to achieve more results in much projects and in our practical economical cooperations such as the Hambantota Port, including Colombo Port City, under the framework of the Belt and Road Initiative. We need to strengthen the strategic coordination and provide firm support to each other. We need to work harder to enhance our coordination and cooperation in many international occasions such as the United Nations and further enhance our coordination in international affairs and jointly safeguard and carry forward international justice and fairness.
Ruling party MP Premanatsi Dolavatta apologized to China over the Yuan Wang 5 controversy.
Even though we are friends, there were some issues very recently. Actually, we must say that one of our MP has stated against your nation, even though you have been supporting us in a very difficult period. So we vehemently condemn the statement Honorable MP made inside the Parliament regarding China. At the same time, Yuan Wang 5 ship, the warship, the incident happened in the very recently, so we must convey our apologies regarding those two incidents. So I think the IMF bill is something very important towards us. So I think we can't miss this. The entire world making news against China regarding that you haven't given the assurance for us, but I am sure that that is not the truth. So as a long-lasting friends, and the way that you have given support inside the Defense Council in the UN, so I think in future regarding this essential time you will support us. I heard that you mentioned regarding this new way of international relationship regarding the last briefing which you have come up. So I think it's the best way that you can implement the next decades to the whole world. At the same time, really pleased to hear the economic growth you have achieved from the last past.
Multiple Sri Lankan politicians also attended the briefing in Colombo. In addition, China donated 1,000 solar energy units to Sri Lanka, paving the way for clean energy.
The delegation of the Communist Party of China, led by Vice Minister Chen Zhou, met former President Mahinda Rajapaksa last evening. In a tweet, the Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka said, quote, they had a broad discussion on promoting the China-Sri Lanka friendship, bilateral cooperation and party-to-party exchanges, unquote.
The Government Medical Officers Association staged a protest opposite the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital, demanding solutions to the shortage of medicines.
The Government Medical Officers Association and several medical associations, including the Dental Association, protested against the shortage of medicine. Doctors from Kuliapiti and Kurunegala teaching hospitals joined this protest.
There is a severe shortage of medicine in government hospitals. Similarly, laboratory services have come to a standstill. Doctors and nurses are trying to leave this country. We kept warning the government of this problem, but there was no response. If this continues, the health sector of this country will face a severe crisis which will be more dangerous than the economic crisis or the fuel crisis. We feel as if this is a deliberate ploy to cripple the health sector. We mainly see that there is a shortage of medicine and clinical equipment at hospitals. The current prices of medicine cannot be borne by the people. The price hike is that bad.
The Rajarata Foundation for Saving Kidney Patients convened a media briefing today to speak on the severity of the situation.
My mother lost her life as a result of kidney disease as well. I took her to clinics in Anuradhapura for 17 days. There are many kidney patients in this area at present. We are being asked to buy medicine from pharmacies. No one can afford those exorbitant prices. Since many people have leased out their lands, they need to now obtain loans. This is a very pathetic situation. We do not even have money to travel by bus. If this continues, people will fall dead in their own houses within a month. The government should involve itself directly to address this matter. Traveling difficulties make it hard for patients to attend clinics. Sometimes they have to wait in line for days and still go back home empty-handed. It is difficult to go back on another day due to financial struggles.
Newsfirst assessed how the medicine shortage has affected other parts of the island as well. This was the situation in Kandy. Pharmacy owners commented on the situation in Kandy to our reporters.
On one hand, people are destitute. However, even if they find money, they cannot source it because there are shortages of medicine. A patient who was admitted to hospital after his platelets had dropped was prescribed a certain injection, but they were unable to find it. I don't know what happened to the patient. Similarly, there are many shortages. There aren't many surgical items left. It is the same with cancer treatment drugs. The supply of syrup for children is also low. More often than not, people refrain from purchasing them because the price is too high. There aren't any cheap antibiotics, only the expensive ones.
People who were purchasing medicine had this to say.
Government hospital cancer ward.
The cancer ward at the government hospital always says that they have run out of medicine. Every pharmacy says there are no drugs. Even the hospital does not have medicine. Patients return home saying there is no medicine. Patients at home are also suffering. Even healthy ones are falling ill now.
The situation in Kurunegala is no different.
When I went to the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital, they did not have medicine. None of the medicine was available. I was given a prescription by the hospital, but when I gave it to the pharmacy, that medicine was not available. We will die untimely deaths because of this.
රෝගය අසරණ වෙනවා. ස්පිතාලේ ක්ලිනික් එකට මාසෙට එන්න කියනවා. ආවම මේ ආවම බෙහෙත් නැහැ.
While the situation in other areas of the country is so, what is the situation in Colombo, the commercial capital?
I came to buy kidney drugs for my daughter. They say medicine isn't available. We are not millionaires to buy medicine, but I need to save my child's life. That is why I came to buy the medicine. I need to find money. I have been coming here for 2 months. She has been hospitalized. Her life needs to be saved. She is only 22 years old. I have no money to buy any more medicine. I have to start collecting money again tomorrow. I was asked to come with the medicine by 9 in the morning tomorrow. I admitted my mother to the hospital and now I am going in search of medicine. They do not have any surgical items. The clinic asks us to purchase medicine from pharmacies, but when we purchase medicine, we do not have money to even eat.
Newsfirst's inquiry revealed that the medicine shortage is severe in all parts of the island.
Meanwhile, preparations are currently underway to celebrate the 75th Independence Day.
The government is currently preparing to celebrate the 75th Independence Day at a cost of 200 million rupees. The main event of the national independence celebration under the theme Namo Namo Matha, a step to a century, will be held on the 4th of February at 8:30 am at Golface Green under the auspices of President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. The government has decided to host a special Republic Parade on the 19th of February. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that this special Republic Parade will be held in Kandy. A special feature this year is that many cultural and religious programs have been organized across the country in line with the 75th National Independence Day. In addition, the special cultural art festival Lankara Lanka, organized in line with the 75th Independence Day, will be held on the 3rd of February with the participation of 750 artists from the public and private sectors.
Will elections be held before the 10th of March 2023?
54 days more.
Political parties and groups are focusing on securing votes ahead of the local government election, and for this purpose, various alliances are being formed. The 43rd Brigade inked an agreement with the Navalanka Freedom Party to contest the elections together.
The 43rd Brigade, led by Patli Champika Ranavaka and the Kumaravelgama-led Navalanka Freedom Party, reached an agreement in Colombo to contest the local government election together.
We hope to field candidates together for several local government institutions. We will also be fielding candidates independently from both parties. This alliance aims to rid this country of corruption and fear. Our hands are clean and we can go anywhere. We may have taken wrong decisions, but those were done unknowingly. However, we have never taken decisions that negatively impacted the country.
The National Executive Council of the Freedom People's Alliance met to discuss a number of matters, including the preparation of nominations. 12 parties and a number of partner organizations belong to that alliance, and they will be contesting for the next election under the symbol of the helicopter.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has decided to contest under the symbol of the hand for a majority of the local government institutions and contest under the symbol of the helicopter for a few local government institutions at the upcoming elections. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party media unit said that this was the decision reached by a majority membership of the political committee of the SLFP that met under the chairmanship of former President Maithripala Sirisena.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party also placed bonds to contest the local government elections at several areas. Cash bonds were placed for 8 local government bodies in the Polonnaruwa district under the leadership of Daham Sirisena, son of former President Maithripala Sirisena.
As the SLFP, we will emerge victorious in the Polonnaruwa district. Not only Polonnaruwa, we will win this election entirely.
The SLFP also placed bonds to contest for 19 local government bodies in the Gampaha district under the leadership of party's General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara.
We let go of our leadership. As a party, we have made that sacrifice. Our leader handled it very respectfully. He cannot betray the party after doing all that. Therefore, as a party, we are facing this situation with strength.
The SLFP placed cash bonds to contest the local government elections from the Kandy district under the leadership of the party's Deputy General Secretary, Minister Sarath Kanayaka.
We will contest from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Other parties will contest the elections as they wish. Maybe they are afraid, but we are not. We will represent the SLFP. That is clear.
SLPP General Secretary Sagara Karyawasam says that they will contest for several local government bodies as an alliance with the UNP.
We will contest for about 2 or 3 local government bodies together with the UNP. In some districts, we will contest as 2 separate parties. We have reached these decisions on mutual agreement.
The United National Party placed bonds for 20 local government institutions in the Galle district for the upcoming local government election.
Now, if this election divides the country by caste, religion or race, Sri Lanka will also lose. Then the public has to work wisely.
The Samagi Jana Balavegya placed bonds to contest for several local government bodies in the upcoming local government election. Placing of bonds for the Kalutara district was done today under the leadership of Kalutara district leader Ajit P. Pereira.
The government will have to hold the elections. They will have to hold the elections as per the law. They cannot legally refrain from holding the polls. We believe that this election must be held.
The Samagi Jana Balavegya placed bonds to contest for 17 local government institutions in the Mathura district today.
The Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna and the United National Party coming together is not a great idea. The UNP is no more. It's only an illusion now.
Meanwhile, bonds were placed for all local government bodies in the Galle district today under the leadership of Galle district leader of the SJB, Kabir Hashim.
This is not just an election to elect someone to build a canal or to provide power supply to a village. Solutions for the national problems comes from the grassroots level such as this. The people who are casting their votes should act with caution.
The SJB also placed bonds to contest for 21 local government bodies in the Kurunegala district. The SJB also placed bonds for 19 local government bodies in the Anuradhapura district today. The Samagi Jana Balavegya today placed bonds to contest for all local government bodies in the Kandy district.
My only request is to dissolve these councils immediately after accepting nominations because they are already planning to misuse those resources and violate the election rules.
Leader of the opposition Sajith Premadasa says a code of conduct will be introduced for representatives of local governments.
පළවෙනි කාරණාව තමයි අපේ සභාවක් තුල අපේ മന്ത്രിවරු සහ අනෙකුත් മന്ത്രിවරු ඒ අය වෙනුවෙන් ආචාර්ය ධර්ම පද්ධතියක් ගෙනෙනවා. ඒ ආචාර්ය ධර්ම පද්ධතියට දියුරුම් ප්‍රකාශයක් කරා හැම අපේක්ෂකෙක්ම අත්සන් තබන.
Under a local government agency run by us, we will introduce a code of conduct for ruling and opposition representatives alike. Every member will sign an affidavit to show their commitment to it. We will take strict disciplinary action against anyone who breaches that code of conduct to the extent where they will lose their seat. Representatives of the SJB will be banned from reaching various illegal contracts. One thing my father did was link overseas local government bodies with ours and obtain resources from them. I have already engaged in conversation with many overseas local government bodies who will form a smart council. Members of this council will travel to villages daily and provide answers to the people's woes. A youth advisory committee across party lines will be formed in all local government agencies.
මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ගේ ක්‍රියාවලිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නට සභා බල ප්‍රදේශයෙන් පක්ෂ බෙහෙදෙන් තොරව තරුණ උපදේශක කමිටුවක් අපි පත් කරනවා.
Leader of the opposition Sajith Premadasa made these remarks while addressing a gathering in Paddy Siripura today.
Sri Lanka's Agriculture Ministry said that field samples will be obtained from all areas where rice plants are turning yellow, and these samples will be sent for lab tests this week. The ministry highlights nutrition deficiency as the main cause for the rice plants to turn yellow.
Sri Lanka's Ministry of Agriculture said the addition of muriate of potash or MOP is the only identified solution to the nutrition deficiency suffered by paddy crops. It added that preventive measures have also been taken to address the other diseases recorded from various parts of the country, including nematode invasion. The Agriculture Ministry notes that local farmers have confused themselves to claim that paddy crops turning yellow is due to nematodes. However, on the 13th of January 2023, the Ministry of Agriculture said that nematodes were the cause of disease spreading among paddy cultivations. It added that this was a serious issue and could also threaten other cultivations as well. While the Agriculture Ministry and officials trade views over the matter, the disease that is turning paddy crops yellow continues to spread across many paddy fields in the country. This is the fate of a number of paddy fields cultivated by 54 agri movements in the Girandurukote division of the Mahaveli C-zone.
I wonder if they even read what is mentioned in the fertilizer bag before importing it. It says do not reuse those bags for any other purpose and should not be used to store crops. The government has paid for this disease. This is what happened to the paddy crops after using the fertilizer that was given. How are we to survive now?
This
This is the fate of paddy crops. We spent over 30,000 rupees on this. And where is our revenue? How can we survive? We lost 3 harvesting seasons. Why did they do this to us?
The innocent farmers and the people have been rendered helpless. The rulers are responsible for this. They place bonds for the government institutions, but nothing is given to the villagers.
Around 500 acres of paddy lands in the Paradua village in Akuras, Matara have also fallen victim to this disease.
If it was my mistake, I can understand, but the mistake was committed by someone else and I have to pay for that.
A 3-page statement regarding the Supreme Court's decision on the Easter Sunday bombings has been released, bearing the signature of Maithripala Sirisena. The statement highlights several details regarding the Supreme Court judgment.
In his statement, Maithripala Sirisena says the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks is the most distressing event of his life, and to date, he continues to be shaken by the tragic events that transpired. The statement also says that the judgment of the Supreme Court has clarified in detail the responsibilities of a minister and executive president, adding that it will stand in good stead for future ministers and presidents when carrying out their supervisory duties and executive functions.
Onlineaccounting.lk festively facilitated its top performers at an event last Friday held at the BMICH.
85 prize winners from 15 districts were felicitated for their excellent performances in chartered ACCA, AAT and CMA examinations. The chief guest for the ceremony was the managing partner of KPMG Sri Lanka and the Maldives and the former chairman of KPMG's Middle East and South Asia Regional Cluster, Reyaz Mehular. The other guests present were presidents of professional institutes and managing partners of leading audit firms, chairmen, CEOs and top business personalities. The Student of the Year title for the year 2021 was awarded to Pavani Pereira, who won 4 prizes. Antili Handaragama, who won 6 prizes, was felicitated as the Student of the Year for 2022.
For the first time in Sri Lanka, members of the parliament have revealed their educational and professional qualifications for the perusal of the public. From 225 parliamentarians, 208 have declared either their educational or professional qualifications or both to the Parliament Secretariat.
After parliamentary officials refused to divulge the information initially, the Right to Information Commission ruled that the information must be disclosed. Until then, although the MPs had been asked to submit the information, none had done so. The details can be accessed by the public on the parliamentary website www.parliament.lk under the directory of members. Earlier, Parliament's stance in terms of Articles 90 and 91 of the Constitution was that MPs' educational qualifications had not been recognised as preconditions for entering Parliament, and that therefore there was no requirement to reveal the qualifications. According to the Parliament website, the 17 parliamentarians who failed to submit both educational and professional qualifications to the Parliament Secretariat are Chamara Sampath Dasanayaka, Dhammika Pereira, Gavindu Kumaratunga, Jagat Samaravikrama, Johnston Fernando, Kulasingam Dileeban, Kumara Velgama, Mahinda Rajapaksa, Mahindanand Aludgamage, Piyal Nishanta de Silva, Venerable Athuraliye Ratanathero, Rohita Abegunawardana, S. Vyalendran, Sivane Siture Sandirakantan, Viduru Vikamanayaka, Vimal Veeravansa, and Yadamini Gunawardana. According to the website, the highest educational qualification of 6 MPs is the ordinary level examination. 52 MPs have mentioned GCE A-level as their highest educational qualification. However, this number cannot be confirmed, as some have mentioned up to A-levels, and that does not confirm that they have passed the exam. 23 MPs have listed diplomas as their highest educational qualification. 70 have said that they are either undergraduates or have graduated with bachelor's degrees. According to the data on the website, 32 parliamentarians have stated master's degrees as their highest educational qualification. 15 parliamentarians have mentioned doctorates as their highest educational qualification. This information from the Sri Lankan Parliament was divulged in response to an RTI appeal that was submitted in July 2021. The directive was issued by the Right to Information Commission, which identified this as a situation where people have the right to know such details of their elected representatives.
Italian actress Gina Lollobrigida, one of the biggest stars of European cinema in the 1950s and 60s, has died at the age of 95.
Often described as the most beautiful woman in the world, her films included Beat the Devil, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Crossed Swords. She co-starred alongside the likes of Humphrey Bogart, Frank Sinatra, Rock Hudson, and Errol Flynn. Her career faded in the 1960s, and she moved into photography and politics. Lollobrigida was one of the last surviving icons of the glory days of film, who Humphrey Bogart said, quote, made Marilyn Monroe look like Shirley Temple, end quote.
Finally, in your sports news, Qatar's Nasser Al Attiyah won his 5th Dakar Rally Drivers' title and 2nd in a row after the iconic test of endurance finished in Saudi Arabia. Newsfirst team, where the people come first. I've been Vanitha Muffali. Take care and stay safe.